Yes, people. What's going on in Egal Talks Football? We're back again with another video. And today's video is a little bit different. There's three of us. I'm going to have LB in the house, who's repping Manchester City. I'm going to have Jay in the house, repping Tottenham. And we're going to kind of do a Man City Tottenham preview as we discuss some of the topics that have been happening throughout the week. Obviously, Vibes on the Six is usually a one show where we discuss all the games. But this week, I'm going to do a two-parter. So stay tuned for tomorrow's show where we have Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester United are also covered in that show. Plus, we'll still probably dabble on Arsenal and the Man City and Tottenham game. But before we go any further, let me bring on my guests. I got my guy LB in the building. How you doing, LB?
Yes, bro. Chilling as always, man.
Let's get it. And then we got my guy Jay in the house. Jay, how you doing?
All good, all good.
Let's go. So since LB is the home team and Jay's the away team, I'm gonna set it up like this. But for now, let's get the show started. Oh, Jay, you okay? Okay, his mic went nuts.
Camera's always dirty. Like man,
Yeah.
it's just like 24/7 dirty. Like it's filth. Like I don't know. People probably. I'm just like, let me try and clean it a little bit. Come back and I'm even blurrier than I was before. I'm just like, what's going on here? So
no, it's fine. It's fine. You look, it looks fine. But yeah, man, let's get the show started. How's it? You know what? I want to start off I wanted to start off the show with the UCL.
Yeah.
But like, let's be honest.
It's been how many years has it been since you've been in the Champions League? Indulge a little bit.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I think we deserve this.
Bro, of course.
We deserve this. We got an easy group. Everyone said Europa League group. We topped that group. We only conceded 3 goals. We've scored 12. You know what? We're making easy work of it. But unlike Man City, where they beat every team. You guys beat everyone, right? You won every game.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we did.
You know what I mean? Like,
you don't care about the group stages, eh? You're just like,
nah. Like honestly, like when you win the league, like you normally get an easy group, innit? Because you're seeded. So then it's like, to be honest with you, if we're being real, all English teams, unless you get absolutely shagged like Newcastle, should be qualifying from the groups. That is just facts. Like United should have qualified. United should be beating Copenhagen and Galatasaray. Yeah, that they should have finished second. Yeah. Right, City should have qualified. Arsenal should have qualified. The only one obviously is Newcastle because they got shagged on the seeding. But like I say, 99% of the time, English teams should be qualified out of the group, man. So like, it's not really a surprise. It's not even arrogance. It's just facts. Like, am I surprised Arsenal top the group? No, I'd have been surprised if they didn't top the group. Same with City, innit?
Fair enough. Jay, you agree?
I think he's got a good point. One thing I'll be just might not have clocked as well is because of the teams that have come in the Champions League this season. Yeah, normally we'd have maybe more teams in Group 1, but with Newcastle being in like a lower group and things like that, some of the better teams were then pushed a little bit higher up than maybe they would have been, and therefore it made it less likely for you to hit them. Do you know what I mean? But Leipzig is still a fairly spicy team in terms of the teams you could have got. But this Champions League, it's funny because I think there's teams that are kind of recalibrating themselves and kind of like rebuilding and stuff. So it is, to me, a weak Champions League. It looks quite weak. And that's not me trying to be disingenuous to Arsenal because they're doing well. It's more me saying, hey, this actually, it looks like a tournament where Arsenal could go far because the quality of side in the tournament is not sky high. And I'm looking at the teams and I'm saying, who do I look at that is definitively better than Arsenal? Like, where I'd be like, right. Do you know what I mean? 100%.
Are you saying Arsenal is one of the best teams in the UCL right now?
Definitely. From what I've seen, of course, definitely.
I said it was a statement win yesterday, and we put Europe on notice. But LB replied and said, "I don't care."
I think because the thing is that it's nice to win like this when the pressure's not really on. It's a different kind of win, and I think as someone who's won the Champions League, LB has. So it's like, even as Spurs, like when we had tournaments when we beat Real Madrid in the group stage, and everyone's really happy. But then we got Juventus and we got knocked out. Like Champions League, while you've got someone like Rice, you're gonna always have a chance. He's been magnificent. Like, he's just been magnificent, and he's just a big player. And I think if you've got a Rice and a Saliba and a Saka, I'm like, this is a lot of quality. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's a lot. They've got a lot of quality, unfortunately. And I think Arsenal can look at the tournament and not run before they can walk because they're not a great European side. Yeah. So, you know, they're a big name in Europe, but they're not a big European team. Subtle difference. Not trying to be rude, but it's subtle.
I'm just happy to see my team back in the Champions League. I'm
not
like LB here who wins every competition. Is just like I'm bored until the end of the season. I feel like your whole fan base just seems like they don't want to speak about football until it's the business end of the season.
Now we speak about everyone else, innit? You know what I mean? You guys force it. No, look, why I disagreed with you yesterday is I actually think Arsenal are one of the better teams in the Champions League. I'd say they're probably top 4, top 5 teams in the Champions League. But you said it was a statement. You said it was a message to the rest of the teams in Europe or whatever their words were. That's not true. No one looked at a 6-0 win against Lens at home and went, "Oh God, Arsenal mint." Like, no. We think Arsenal have got a good chance to going far because of the way that you're playing and because of the team. The performance yesterday, the win yesterday, didn't alter that. It didn't back it up. Just because, bro, like, but it comes from a place. This is what some Arsenal fans are not getting. That's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of respect.
Yeah.
I expect Arsenal to be dealing with Lens at home. Do I expect them to score 6? Maybe not. But if you would have said to me before the game, Arsenal's going to score 4, maybe even 5, I'm not going to go, no chance. I'm going to say, I expect Arsenal to be dealing with these teams because they're a good side. So I think Arsenal can go pretty far this year. I think for me, I agree with Hussam. We was on with Hussam before, and I think you've got City at the top. Are the favourites, clear favourites. I think Real Madrid then are below them slightly. And then I think you've got a lot of teams then in and around each other. I think Bayern Munich, I've watched them a few times this year. I think they look pretty average. You've just got one of the greatest goal scorers in the world. Arsenal are in there. Atletico Madrid are in there. Inter Milan are probably in there. You've got all these teams that are very good sides. Probably don't come close to City and Real Madrid. But on the day, who knows? You know what I mean? On the day...
I think if PSG managed to just sort their feet out and get to their group and everything like that, I think we might see a much better PSG in 3 months' time once Enrique's had more time, because you know they did play well against against Newcastle, and they did create a lot of chances. Yeah, so as a team, quality wise, they stunk up the joint a bit at Newcastle, but Newcastle they played well. But they've still been quite lucky to have the points they have. Like against Milan, I thought they were quite lucky to not lose. Against PSG, okay, they were probably better, but even like for them to smash PSG like that was kind of, you know, obviously the Dortmund games, fair. Obviously, then again, that game should have lost, really. Obviously, horrible penalty to give away, but on the balance of play, they should have lost the game. So, you know, I think Newcastle are definitely an evolving, growing team, but PSG have shown me enough to be like, okay, give this guy another 3 months on the training ground, and they're gonna be much better. Plus, they'd have a transfer window to plug any gaps in the team. So, the PSG, I think, could be a lot better in a few months. But yeah, Arsenal are definitely up there, and I think that the respect that a lot of Arsenal fans demanded that we give them, like 15 games, 16 games into the season, last season, everyone is happy to, personally, I'm happy to give Arsenal that level of respect and appreciation of the team, because they've shown from a period of time now, lost some key players, had some good players injured in certain games. They've shown me a resiliency and a consistency where I'm like, okay, these guys are a good team. Do you know what I mean? They can roll with the punches. They can more or less have anybody out of the team at this point and still be good. So that to me is the benchmark of a manager completely having his style of play across, and also the squad being strong. So yeah, Arsenal.
You know what? Just before we finish off with the Arsenal segment and the whole Champions League part, did you guys see Tomiyasu yesterday? Because I think that guy is one of the most underrated players. In 45 minutes, he had 2 assists. The guy was all over the pitch, destroying play, doing everything he needed to do as a right back. This is a man who also played left back for us. This is a guy who also can fill in as center back for us. And reportedly today, we're now going to be giving him a new contract. I think this is fully deserved. And players like this, City always find players like this that are just jack of all trades. They can do a lot of things. And this is another one of those guys for us. And I think if he was fit last season in the business end of the season, he definitely would have helped us potentially win that league. If it wasn't for him and Saliba also both being injured.
Yeah, but still, and in the interest of fairness and non-revisionism, he did make a big mistake when you played City and De Bruyne scored. So the logic of if he'd been available more has to be somewhat tempered by the fact that he was available for that game and he stunk up the joint a little bit. So I don't disagree that he looks great this season and adding offensive capability. He didn't have that last season. Great, fantastic. However, I have to just push back a little bit on that comment. And if he'd been available, I'm like, maybe. I'll give it you because you won 6-0, but maybe.
No, but you know, the only reason why I bring it up is because Arsenal, at this point, we cannot be losing players to any team. And when you have Bayern Munich calling for a guy like Tomiyasu, I'm happy that he's staying and he's decided to potentially sign a new contract, as David Ornstein reported today. And I don't know if you guys, obviously you guys don't really care from your perspective, but from Arsenal perspective, just holding on to our players, being able to retain the signings like Saliba, Saliba, Saka, Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, getting Gabriel Magalhaes to sign a new contract. Now Tomiyasu, Odegaard signing a new deal. This is just showing that we're serious and we're no longer a team that just people come and take our players away from us once we've developed them to a certain level.
Well, the thing
and that's where we have to be as a club. We cannot let our best players leave, and squad players like Tomiyasu are crucial for teams that want to win major trophies.
Well, the thing is,
Elby, what do you got to say on this?
No, I agree. I think good squad player, good rotational player. I don't think he's a player that should be starting week in, week out for the 38-game campaign. But to come in, fill a gap here and there, can play left back, play right back, play centre back, do whatever. Like I think he's a good player, and you need those. They're the underrated players when you win titles. I can tell you that. I've been watching a team that's won a lot of titles recently. It's people speak about the Haalands, the Kevin De Bruyne. It's about the players that can come in games, against standard teams at home or whatever, and just do a performance and just get a solid 7 out of 10. They're the players that help you win, man. So yeah, good that you've got him signed up, or you're getting him signed off. It's a good signing, yeah. You bang on.
There you go. And before we go to anything else, because we're gonna jump to the City and Tottenham part, we're gonna save the Man United slander for tomorrow. But if you guys want to get anything in there, you can talk about it right now, because that was embarrassing.
I will just say that they are a shambolic club from top to bottom. The manager don't know what he's doing. The goalkeeper's shocking. The defenders are shocking. They have no midfield. I just think they're in serious shit, bro. And everyone likes to jump on. What's his name? Onana, rightly so, because he's shocking. But why did Man United have no midfield yesterday in the second half?
One thing I will just say personally is like I rewatched the goals again, and I do think people are being a bit harsh on Onana. Like I genuinely did.
Which one?
No, hold on. Let me be. So the first goal, right? So I watched the free kick again, right? So if you watch the free kick in the wall, yeah, they've got the two Galatasaray players, yeah, and then they split or move or duck or whatever, and the ball goes exactly in that space where it comes. It's well hit. He shouldn't have taken a step to his left, but once he's done that, he's done. So I'll give him that. Yeah, that's more your second goal. Martial ducks. If you watch it, Martial ducks right in front of it. So it literally, the reaction time is not he's seen the shot all the way from when it was taken. It's when Martial ducks. Because if you actually watch it, it's a crazy duck by Martial. And he's then tried to react and stuff. Again, he wants to do better, but it's not the level. The third goal's a good goal. Aguero made a fucking career out of finishing like that third goal. Do you know what I mean? So Hugo has nightmares about Aguero in the near post.
Jay, Man United are such a mess that the guy was literally distraught after the game. I seen somebody posted on Twitter, and nobody came to support him.
Well, with all due respect, Egal, like when he was screaming in Maguire's face in preseason, yeah, I ain't seen nobody going over to Maguire to make him feel better. So,
Okay.
some days you're the pigeon, some days you're the statue.
True.
Fair enough. Okay, let's get into some of the stuff going on with Man City. Enough about that. You guys won your Champions League game. Phill Foden gets a lot of criticism, and yesterday on my stream, Phill Foden got some criticism. I'm gonna play this. You tell me what you think, because we were talking about Phill Foden and just, has he reached his potential at Man City yet? Not yet, obviously, but is he starting to stagnate? That's what the point that they were trying to make yesterday on the show. So let me just play it.
He's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. He's knocking on that door, but the guy doesn't get minutes. I still think the best game I've seen from Phill Foden was in 2021. It's not now.
He hasn't gone leap and bounds from where he was. To be fair, you're right.
No, like genuinely, I remember. I don't know if you remember. There was a game where Sancho was playing against it was like a 41-year-old. He tore his quad or something running. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
That same game, Foden ran that game centrally. Like he ran it. Like it was against nobody's, but like he was playing in the 8 and he just ran the whole game. He was playing passes, he was doing things back and forth, he was playing very well. And I thought, you know what, that's the start of Foden centrally. That's what we've been waiting for. That's the game we've been waiting for. And he's still a right winger. It's 2020, nearly 2024.
So the point that they were making was, one, that he's stagnating and still playing out of position, and two, they're saying he hasn't progressed too much from what he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I have to disagree with that in the strongest possible terms, bro. I think I genuinely just don't think people actually are looking at the data and to back up the stuff about the minutes. What are people talking about the minutes? This season he's played, 1,493 minutes. So I'm not entirely sure what
he meant minutes in the midfield.
Yeah, but Pep Guardiola, he's got Kevin De Bruyne, he's had Ilkay Gundogan, like at the end of the day, we're trying to mould him into one of the best players, and it's not just about him, it's also about the football club. Do you know what I mean? So Phill Foden's doing a fantastic job for City. He's getting great goal involvements. Last season, in his worst season for Manchester City, in my personal opinion, he was like 4 goal involvements behind Saka in the whole year, who apparently was the star boy who carried Arsenal. I think for me personally, I don't get why people are hating on him. I really don't get why people are doing that. I find it strange. It's proper weird.
So you think because he got injured last season, you think people are just criticizing him harshly?
I don't get why people are criticising him. He delivers goals and assists, right? So he gets the numbers. This whole thing about he doesn't play, he's always on the bench, is a complete lie. Because look at the data. The data doesn't back up that point.
Okay.
He's playing for one of the most technical managers in the world. He's doing a very, very good job. And we are starting to see him play midfield a little bit more now, which is his best position. But ultimately, he's at a team where we've had David Silva, we've had Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan. It's not just a case of, he's a star boy, stick him in. No, it's about Manchester City as well. Like he's got to sort of be moulded into it. So I always just get like baffled by it, man. I genuinely just get so baffled by why anyone criticises him or gets onto him about anything, because I just don't get what more he needs to do. He's got 11 GNA in 1,500 minutes already this season. 3 goals in the Champions League, 2 assists. That's 5 in 4.
How many games has he played centrally this season for you guys?
According to Transfermarkt, 3.
That's where people are criticizing him. They're saying centrally is your best position. They want to see more minutes in that position, not more minutes in general. So I guess at this point we're nitpicking, but they're saying, how much longer are we going to continue to see him as a winger when he is a midfielder?
But what's the problem with seeing him as a winger? I agree, I want to see him in midfield, but what's the problem with seeing him as a winger? Why do people get onto him for that?
People are feeling like he's stagnating, playing out wide.
But what does that mean, stagnating? I mean, we just won the treble, right? Which he was a massive part on. He played a lot of minutes. Like, I don't really understand how you can say he's stagnating. Like, what evidence is it that he's stagnating? I just said to you, yeah, if in my opinion, last year, because of his injuries, it was his worst season at Manchester City, and he was like 4 or 5 goals behind Saka. So I don't get, like, how is he stagnating? That is a fantastic result. I just don't get it. I don't get why people are saying he's stagnating at all.
You know what? Maybe it's a harsh criticism. I need to get you and Curran on the stream. Maybe you guys can have a conversation then. It's not my take. I'll tell you that much. But when it comes to you, Jay, you think you also agree, or you want to because then we can just move on to City.
Foden's the curious case of Phill Foden. It's one of those where I agree with albeit the underlying numbers they support Foden is playing well this season and he's heavily involved, but the eye test kind of gives off something a bit different, and it's for me. I think that's where the disconnect comes, and I think as well there's a perception thing, and I think there's a technical thing too. I think Foden is more like somebody who is maybe a little bit more off the cuff. I think when he's playing in a Pep system, sometimes you have to lower your own personal skill set. You have to lower your own personal, preference of how to play. And I think sometimes even from a trust point of view centrally, I think there's still a bit of a small gap between exactly how Pep wants him to play it and how Foden wants to play it. And I think that maybe belies why Pep maybe doesn't maybe trust him as much centrally whenever he's fit. But again, there's development, there's time. He's young. I think the emergence of the Sakas and the Bellinghams are making people look at him slightly differently. But he's a key player in arguably the best team in the world. So I think any criticism has to be heavily tempered. It has to be very
Could that be
slight. It has to be very slight. I mean, to be putting his numbers up and to be doing what he's doing and to be growing in importance with the team, I don't see how you can argue that that's stagnation. I think you can only be like, well, I would maybe like to see him do this, or I think he could do this, but I don't think it can fall into the category of stagnation, personally, anyway.
Okay. You know what? I think that's a really good point. A lot of people might be criticizing him because of the Jude Bellinghams and the, for example, and people putting him on the same pedestal. But you know what? We'll park it for now. We'll move on to the next topic. LB, I wanted to ask you what's this thing going on about a court date was set. I've seen some article came out from the Mail. Understands that the Premier League and Man City have agreed a date to settle this issue.
Yeah, so it seems like the independent commission who is going to oversee and take on the evidence has got this date. They've put the date forward to City and the Premier League, and City and the Premier League have agreed with the date, happy with it. So it's a simple case of we now have to wait for the trial to start. We reckon that the verdict, the decision, will come in the summer of 2025, so 18 months, and then we'll find out what's happening. But yeah, we know now when it's going to happen, because before it was all sort of pie in the sky. Is it going to be this year, next year, 3 years, 5? Yeah, we know now when it's going to be, so people can stop moaning about it. And now we have to wait for it, innit? But that's basically it. We now know when they're gonna review the evidence.
Person for me, I'm seeing people celebrating this online as if you guys are already convicted, or like some verdict has come down. People need to relax. From what I'm seeing here, it's just you've penciled down the date. The trial is expected to be late autumn next year, right? And witnesses' statements are currently being gathered. This just gives people a deadline on trying to get some closure on this. And the verdict won't be until 2024-2025 season. So this will not affect you for at least another year. So everybody who's over analyzing this, I think they're over analyzing way too much. Yeah. But yeah, that's just my take on it. What are you saying?
That is true, bro. That is true. People are getting it twisted a little bit. And
they're getting excited as if something's gonna happen.
Yeah, then there might be an appeal after that as well, depending on the outcome. So, but at least people know when it's gonna be, man. At least people know when it's gonna be, because people was wondering when it was gonna be because of the Everton stuff.
As a Man City fan, do you care about all these things? Because you just trust your
Yeah, of course I care. You know,
No, I mean, like,
his team might get sent to the abyss.
No, I feel like your fan base doesn't really feel bothered by this anymore. It's kind of like you guys are over it.
Well, you've also got to understand, Egal, we've been dealing with this for over a decade, mate. Do you know what I mean? This isn't new. We've dealt with FFP multiple times with UEFA. Yeah, we got kicked out of the Champions League by UEFA. We then went to CAS. CAS overturned it and said a lot of the stuff that they were talking about was nonsense. You know, now we got this again. The club say they've got irrefutable evidence. Like, there's only so much you can be like getting party about it. But yeah, of course I care. You know, I ideally don't want to get relegated. But what you've got to understand as well is about the difference between your fan base and a lot of your other fan bases compared to City's fan base. Maybe not some of our newer fans and the younger fans, but any of our fans that are over the age of like 30. Yeah, 30. Seen us in the lower leagues, and a lot of them that enjoyed the journey. So a lot of them are just like, well, if we get relegated, we get relegated. It's not the end of the world. Whereas I think like other clubs who've maybe been in the Premier League since it was inception, not been relegated for ages, they'd probably melt. You know, if we get relegated, you probably get a lot of our fans who low key be buzzing because they'll be like, get to go to fucking Barnsley again and fucking York away. Honestly, you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a unique fan base, City, just because we were in the lower leagues just over 20, 30 years ago, whatever it was. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. But the thing for me, is if City get not guilty, then what's going to happen, man? Because all these people been slagging our club off, like for time. Yeah, you got pundits on the TV chatting absolute nonsense. You got people on TalkSport talking about stuff that they don't even know about. Like, are we just going to be like, oh, yeah, we're not guilty, see ya? Are we going to do something? Are we going to release a statement? Are we going to take any action against anyone? Are we going to sue anyone? Because
it's like I get what you're saying, but it's a bit like when OJ Simpson gets found not guilty. You should just take the verdicts and run. Do you know what I mean? So I look at City with the fact, from what I've read, to me personally, I think City are guilty. Yeah. If you look at it from the point of view, can you prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? That's the difference. My threshold for whether City is guilty is not the same as a court of law. But a court of laws is not the same as the Premier League's arbitration panel. Do you see what I mean? So that's where this starts to get a little bit different.
But you can't, as a person, just say they're guilty without knowing any of the facts.
Well, I can look at the evidence and I can take the evidence in good faith.
Well, what's the evidence? What evidence are you looking at?
The leaks, the kicker, the whole everything that got dumped originally that formed the basis of the investigation. So like your emails, the trail in terms of opening accounts, the increase in transfer revenue. So it's not necessarily that other clubs don't do it, but you guys brazenly did it. And it's a case of saying, you can say, well, that was hacked. How do you know that that's real? And I'm like, well, that's absolutely true. But you can either take it at good faith or not. And I'm going to take the evidence at good faith.
But what about City's argument? What about City's response to that, bro?
I don't even know what City's argument overly was. I think apart from it's not true.
Well, bro, you've looked at the evidence. This is the thing. People make a judgment on whether they're guilty or not. But
City didn't comment on the evidence. Like that evidence
yes,
I'm talking about. That's not been
reviewed. Let him tell you what the response is.
But this is the thing. So this is why it gets frustrating as a City fan, because we hear people, say, oh, City are guilty based on this. And then I question you and say, well, what about City's response? And you don't even know.
But what was it? But I'm saying, to me, City never refuted that. To me,
they did. They did.
But what did City say? City didn't get off because they refuted. They got off because it was time barred.
That's another, bro. This is the problem.
But you can't say this is the problem and then not tell me what the actual.
Let him respond.
Let me respond. So, but I will answer both of your questions. But this is the problem, and this is why City fans are tired, because you are just believing the media. Okay. What people are telling you, and I'm trying to be respectful to you now, but everything you're just saying there is wrong, bro.
Well, okay, so what is the
okay? So by the way, this is all backed up. The CAS arbitration document PDF, you can find this on Google. So everything I'm saying can be fact checked.
I've read that, but go on.
So if you've read it, the CAS document literally says that the case is time barred, but they would have overturned the decision anyway. That's what they say in the CAS document.
That's not what I took from it. But what was the argument that they would? So what was City's rebuttal to this evidence?
That it was not Sheikh Mansour. It was another geezer who worked for Etisalat. And by the way, the Etihad Airways stuff, they actually got one of the board members to go to CAS from Etihad Airways and stand up in front of them and say, everything you're saying is chat shit. These are some of them are publicly listed companies, man. Yeah. And this is all in the document, man. This is all in the document that you can. That's
for me. The thing is that I'm looking at the evidence of and the evidence is widely there. City were fined for not working with the investigation too. Yeah, so it's not like City were helping the investigation or City were.
I wouldn't have helped him. I wouldn't have helped him if I was City. They bang on.
Right. Okay. So to me, I'm looking at the accusations as to what UEFA brought and originally banned you from the Champions League, and the Premier League brought similar ones. That's what I'm saying. So based on the evidence that they saw, they thought that you should be banned. Yeah, and you. After that evidence was presented, we're like, okay, well, this isn't true. This should be time barred. We shouldn't have to go back to this. But it was never really critically saying the evidence. We didn't try the case on the evidence. City weren't trying to do this on the evidence. They weren't trying to negate the evidence. Well, no, they were trying to get as much of it thrown out so that they didn't have to answer the evidence.
Well, look, yes, you would do that anyway, though, bro. You would if you was tried for a crime, and your lawyer was like, well, first of all, what we're going to try and do is get this whole thing quashed, and then if we don't get it quashed, then we go to court, we go to trial. You'd have to have some proper dumb lawyer who says, oh, there's a potential way we could just not even go to trial here, to get it cut out on a technicality or whatever, but we won't do that. We'll just go to trial, because if you've got a trial, anyone can lose. You can lose it even if you're innocent. We see that all the time in normal shit. But the whole thing about the time bar thing is wrong. They literally explain it in the CAS document. That and the thing is, right, you're talking about UEFA. So UEFA banned us, right? We then went to an independent commission, independent of everyone, independent from City, independent of it, and they said, nah, UEFA, you're wrong. And in fact, some of the stuff that they said UEFA was, some of the stuff that they was alleging was completely wrong and misleading and dangerous to the sort of sporting thing. So this is the problem, man. Everyone's just got the wrong end of the stick because the media don't know what they're talking about.
So I disagree because
there's nothing to disagree with, bro. It's all facts.
That's what I'm saying. What you're positioning is not the perception that I have of the ruling. That's your perception. Even like if you go and check now, like they even said at the time, like the decision is not wrong per se, as in like the decision that UEFA came to is not wrong based on the decision that they made. It's other reasons why they decided not to ban you, not based off the evidence that UEFA decided you were guilty on. Does that make sense?
One second. There's some people in the comment section are trying to say some things, and I just want to understand what your rebuttals would be to those. People were saying, why not cooperate if you're innocent? What do you think about that?
Okay, so this whole thing has started because of hacked emails, right? So that City is saying have been taken out of context and not correct. Yeah. So they all think that it's all Sheikh Mansour. So why would City go along with it, man? They've got no right to investigate this case based off of hacked emails. You know what I mean? It's only because in Switzerland you're allowed to use hacked evidence in cases, which is why CAS actually reviewed it. If this case was tried in Portugal, where the hacker was tried, the case would never have been allowed to go ahead because in there it's banned.
It's illegal.
So why would you? I completely understand why City wouldn't go ahead with this. You're just gonna hack us and just start investigating us and just expect us to cooperate when everything that you're saying is not right anyway. Because that's what City's responses to the emails is that you're talking about Sheikh Mansour. There's no evidence that it's come from Sheikh Mansour. And by the way, you think we're guilty. So one of the companies that was alleged to have been funding money through Sheikh Mansour had their books, after this was charged, had their books investigated and audited by, I think, Ernst and Jones or something like Ernst and Young.
Yeah, but that's why it's so difficult to prove, because it's technically fraud. It's bigger than FFP and football. It's basically you cooked your
so
books.
how can you say
because
that's what I'm saying.
That's why why it's hard to beat City, because the threshold to show that you cooked your books is high. But
because these are big accusations. The threshold is
but that's what I'm saying. An accusation of that level requires that almost like a whistleblower. You essentially need to be able to prove that, because City, we all are looking at City's valuations and even how much they're being given, and you know, City are getting monumental amounts of money, things like that. Money's being, you know, City's official sponsorship from Etihad was say like 12 million, and then it was bumped up another 70 million or whatever it was by another entity that sent it up. All of this is murky. All of this is shades of grey, and it looks bad. Now, a hacker presented this information, and you can say, well, it's a hacker. But if you look at it, you look at the emails, you look at the stuff that you guys were saying about ill, and what was it that Gary Cook at the time was emailing about, one of the UEFA directors who was ill, sending like all of this information tells you how City felt about UEFA. City was saying, listen, we will hire this many lawyers to block a process. That's not the words of somebody who's going about stuff in an innocent manner.
No, it's the words. It's the words of someone who, if they feel that they're being attacked wrongly, with absolutely no sort of legitimate reason for being attacked.
I think there's a legitimate reason.
Well, there isn't a legitimate reason, is there? If you're saying a hacked email is legitimate reasons, then we're going to go down a murky road of everyone just hacking everyone. Start hacking everyone. Because then if we hack people and just find something, then we'll just start investigating them. That's what happens. That's what
happens.
Okay. At this moment in time, I'm going to shift gears back to the game, and we're going to try to move away from this. Let's get to the actual football, because that's why we're here. So, of course, there's a big game this weekend. Manchester City versus Tottenham. Tottenham are the away team. Man City are the home team. And Man City at the Etihad they don't lose. They just do not lose. So this is going to be a very difficult game for Tottenham, especially with the starting 11 of injuries at this moment in time for Tottenham. If I can name the players Tottenham have out for this upcoming game, now with Bentancur also being added to the list, Maddison, of course, Romero is still suspended. You have Emerson Royale picked up a hamstring injury. Richarlison has a groin injury. Solomon's injured. James Maddison, of course. Perisic is out for the rest of the season. And then I don't know who the other two guys are. Ashley Phillips, I think he's a young defender. And you also have
Sar's injured at the moment.
Sar's injured also? Damn, bro. It's peak for you guys. As for Manchester City, they have Kevin De Bruyne, Mateo Nunes, and Mateo Kovacic out. Matthew Nunes and Mateo Kovacic out. So I think clear favorites are Manchester City. But Jay, I'll throw it over to you. What do you think is going to happen in this game, bro?
Okay, so the positives, yeah. Performance against Villa was pretty good, considering we had this many players out. Wasn't quite at it defensively, but offensively we created some good stuff. So more of that. We have to attack. Like, we just have to attack. We haven't got anywhere near the defense to be able to hold City out, so we have to attack. We can cause them problems. You know, they conceded 4 to Chelsea. Looked a bit ropey first half against Leipzig. Liverpool had moments of joy, so we can cause them problems. I think we can do something. Like, I know. I'm not optimistic we're going to get a result, but I think we'll put in a good performance. I'm not worried, as it were. Like, as in, I'm not. I think the manager's already showing the style of plays working. Because like last week when we played Villa, we kind of smashed them up. And if you consider last week we were missing our centre-backs, both our centre-backs, our entire first-choice midfield, and then Bentancur got injured. You know, and obviously the issue as well is a lot of time with the rotations, the options. When you don't have Solomon, you don't have Perisic, you don't have Richarlison, you can't change the players up front. You can't rotate them. You can't give the opposition more questions. So you know, it's going to be a good game. Like as in, but City haven't clicked yet this season, so hopefully, you know, we can catch them on a bit of an off day. They've had games this season where they've not played fantastic, and you know, we have a chance. We have an opportunity because we can create chances. Like as in, like we'll create chances and we'll just keep coming at them.
By the way, just to let you know, in the last 6 games versus Manchester City and their ground, you've only taken all 3 points once, and you've gotten a draw once, and that's in all competitions in the last 6 games.
Yeah, that's fair, but we won an absolute classic against them 2 seasons ago, 3-2, and yeah, that was a big win. That to me was like that was a big win for us. Like, and I feel like we're kind of in that moment again. Going into that game, then, like no one gave us a chance. We were on a run of defeats. We weren't playing well, and we turned up. Like, but I think we'll turn up. Like, I genuinely do. I think the players, we've lost 3 in a row. We can't lose this game. That's what people are not understanding. Nobody wants Spurs to lose 4 in a row.
Wait. Why is this a must win? We've
lost 3 in a row.
It's Man City.
Doesn't matter, man. We need to. That's the mentality you need to start. We came to your grounds and we got something. Like, wow. We're capable, but it's just going to be a tough game. Just presuming.
Let's go to LB. LB, what do you have to say about this game? Because you're probably going to be positive also.
Yeah, man. I looked at the way Tottenham played against Villa, and I thought if they play that open against City, then surely we'll have a goal fest, man. You know what I mean? As long as we're putting the ball in behind, getting Haaland on point. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just surely Postecoglou ain't going to play that open. Surely ain't going to do that, man. Because that was kamikaze football, wasn't it? Let's be real. You know what I mean? And yeah, because people say, yeah, obviously Spurs created a few chances, but the first couple of minutes, so did Villa. You know what I mean? So did Villa in that game. So I'm thinking, play like that with that high line, pressing, open up the midfield. You know, surely City will get the win. I'm pretty confident that we will win the game. I am pretty confident we'll win the game. I think if Postecoglou plays that style, you know, you could see like maybe a 4-1, 4-2 sort of situation, because they probably will score the way we're defending. But I'm interested to see if he changes his tactic for this. I mean, everything that he says indicates he probably won't, because he just doesn't care, does he? He just plays the football the way he wants to play, which is fair dues. But I can't see anything other than a City win here. I can't. And I think we could get a few goals as well.
Let me show you guys what the lineups are projected to look like, and maybe you guys can tell me if you think there would be any differences to these lineups. So first, I'll start with LB. This is what they're saying the C team will look like with Ederson, Ake, Diaz, Walker, Doku, Rodri, Stones, Foden, Alvarez, Silva, and Erling Haaland.
Yeah, possibly that could be what we see. Yeah, where's the winger? Have we got a left winger there or nah?
So the way they have it right now is Doku is basically the left wing.
I can't see it. I can't see it on the screen. Okay, yeah. It's probably something like that. Maybe Grealish will play, maybe Doku, who knows. I'd probably play Foden in the middle, Bernardo Silva on the right wing, but it's probably going to be something like that, yeah.
You can see that clearly now, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that clearly. The only thing I would probably say is I'd probably drop Diaz actually and play Ake in the middle or something, because he's made a couple of mistakes recently. But yeah, something like that. That'll be the team. John Stones coming back in for us is absolutely huge, man. Daniel in the chat says Stones won't play, but I'd play him. I'd risk him.
Why is it the Stones not playing? Is he coming back from an injury?
Yeah, he's just come back in from an injury, so he's back on the bench, wasn't he? But I'd play him. I'd risk him. I think it's an important game. I think we need to win the game, but there are a lot of City fans like Daniel who want to maybe give him that extra game, extra week, maybe bring him back for Villa. You know, Daniel's not wrong.
Akanji out of favour now?
Nah, Akanji's not out of favour. Akanji's still solid, man. I like Akanji. He didn't do great yesterday on the goal, but Tuesday, it was Tuesday, wasn't it? Yeah, he didn't do great on the goal, but nah, Akanji's probably been one of our best defenders this year, to be honest.
And what about Alvarez? Alvarez kind of, since the last international break, he kind of slowed down a little bit. He's not getting as involved in the goals. Are you guys playing different with Doku on the pitch? What is happening with Julian Alvarez? Why is he not seeing the best of him over the last couple of weeks?
Just don't think he's got the quality to play in that position, bro. I think he's an out-and-out striker. I think he needs to be closer to Haaland. When he plays in that position, getting closer to Haaland, in my opinion. When he plays there, he's just like, I don't know if you watched the City game against Leipzig, but like he got a ball when he come on, he got a ball a couple of times in good spots. He just doesn't have the pay. He doesn't have the pass because he's not a midfielder. He's a striker that we're forcing into midfield. I think earlier on in the season, maybe was he getting closer to Haaland, so getting more goal opportunities rather than now he's getting more creative opportunities. I don't know, but there is a big debate about whether or not he should play. He probably will play because Pep loves him.
So you would play him, though, of course.
Would I play him? I would. I think I'd play him. Yeah, I try to think about the team. What would my team be? I think he'd still be in my team. I think.
Fair enough. And before we go to Jay, I am not going to do a combined 11 like I always do, but I'm just going to ask you simply: would you take any Tottenham players into your starting 11 right now?
The current Tottenham.
Yeah, the current Tottenham team, like fully fit.
Fully fit.
Yeah. That's including Romero, Van de Ven, Son. You wouldn't take any of those guys. Madison, none? LB, I'm talking to you.
Oh, me. Sorry. And a starting 11.
Yeah, the City's best 11. Do any Tottenham players get in for you?
No.
Not one.
No. I don't think so. No. Not in the starting 11. There's players that I'd take 100% to be as part of the squad, but that Madison and Son ain't getting ahead of.
People are saying Madison would start over Alvarez.
Yeah, but you said all the players fit, innit?
So you fully fit team. If you have a fully fit team with KDB and everybody there, obviously they don't get in. But I'm talking about.
I think if it was me, it'll be Rodri, KDB, Madison, Bernardo on the right, Son on the left.
I don't know. Would Son do well at City?
Of course.
Son, yeah, Son.
Of course. What do you mean? Of course.
I think Son. To be fair, Son maybe on the left wing possibly gets in, but I ain't in no rush to get him in over Doku at the moment. The only one that I would take in this current system with the current players' injuries would probably be Madison. But all our players fit. The only one really that I'm looking at would probably be Son for the left wing. But even that at the moment, I'm not even like fully set on it because I'm happy with what I've got.
All right, Jay, talk to me about this team. So for your team, they got Vicario, Pedro Porro, Royale, David, Doggy, Lo Celso, Basuma, Kulusevski, Johnson on the right, Gill on the left, and Son up top.
Yeah, probably that. I see that being the team. Basically, Basuma just coming in for Bentancur, who was injured in the last game. I disagree a little bit with the point that was made before about the Villa game. I thought, first 1-2 minutes, they were like, it was like maybe like, feeling each other out. But then for the next 20 minutes, we just missed a catalogue of chances until they crippled Bentancur. And then they like, it was a bit more 50, but we missed loads of chances. And it's one of those where you're right, that the pressing and the way the team will play will probably be better with Basuma than Højbjerg. And it's just one of these games where it's a bit like everyone thinks that we're going to be just open. And everyone keeps saying, oh, you're just going to be open. But, even if you look at the last 3 games that Spurs have lost, okay, you had the 4-1 to Chelsea, 9 men. So maybe you want to asterisk that if you're a Spurs fan. Wolves game, you lost the game in injury time. Yeah, you were 1-0 up in 90 minutes. You lost the game in injury time. Villa, you're missing like 10, 11 first teamers. It's a 50-50 game. They took their chances. You didn't. Slightly different contexts in each game, but in no game have they been blown away. Yeah, in no game have we been absolutely like made to look like absolute idiots. And that's even with, a lot of players missing. So that's why I almost think that the style of play and the system can help us do something against City. So I'm looking at this from the point of view of saying, what can we do? Where can we get some joy? And I think overloads, runners, pressing you guys to death. We got a puncher's chance. Like, do you know what I mean? As in, like, I'm sure City will be trying to feast on Haaland and the transitions, but that's why Lo Celso and Kulusevski are going to be important to try and press these guys. So it's going to be a good game. I'm not scared. Like, I'm like going to Arsenal and drawing. Obviously, we don't have the same players exactly and stuff, but it tells me what the team's capable of doing. I think we'll put in a performance, and I don't think we're going to get battered. I think we can surprise a few people. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what the team can do. Like, I don't expect us.
I was just gonna say, I want to see you guys do me a favor, hit that like button right now. We got almost 90 of you guys in the chat, and none of you guys have hit that like button. We only have like 30 likes. Come on, you can do much better than that. Do me that favor, hit that like button right now. This is disgraceful, guys. Come on. I was just showing you guys the matches that you guys recently played. So both of you guys agree that this is going to be a high scoring game. You're going to see goals from each side, right?
I think it could be. I think it could be an open game because obviously one thing that's going to happen here is Spurs are going to play Manchester City for the first time in a long time, and not going to just sit back and try to hit us on the break. I think they're going to try and play football. So I do think City will score goals if that's how they play. And depends how our defence defends because we've been making too many individual errors. Diaz, Guardiola, Kanji, Walker, they're all just chipping in with an error here, an error there. So yeah, there is a world quite easily I could see City keeping Tottenham out, but the way we're defending at the moment, I can't give us a clean sheet. That'd just be ridiculous. So that's what I said. I think like for me, I'm looking like maybe a 4-1 City. 4-2.
No.
By the way, I don't have my prediction is not that far off from that. I actually had this game being a high scoring game. I think City are going to score 4 goals, and I think you're actually going to score 2. I think it's going to be one of those crazy games where it's like both teams score a ridiculous amount of goals. And reason being, no matter what, Tottenham's still going to attack, and City are going to find moments in this game where they're going to just outplay you, and they're going to be at home where they're unbeatable. So I do think they're going to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys had like an early goal in the game. Son, you can't doubt Son. Son's gonna get a chance. He's gonna score. There's gonna be goals in this game from both sides. One thing I can guarantee you, no clean sheet. I guarantee you, there's no clean sheet in this game. But red cards, penalties, I don't think there's gonna be that either. The issue you guys have is how are you gonna play fullbacks against Erling Haaland? There's nobody who can match him physically. They could just ping it long to Erling Haaland, have runners like Alvarez and Bernardo Silva, and it's done for you guys. I don't think you guys have played. You played against Ollie Watkins. He should have scored 3 goals last game. Erling Haaland.
Listen, Watkins had a chance. Listen, Spurs were still the better team in the last game, and they had the better chances. And if Spurs could finish their dinner in that first half, Spurs should have been out of sight before Villa even started playing. So the thing, I'm not expecting City to start slowly and stuff, but it's one of those where Spurs will give as good as they get, and City have a high line too. Let's see City's high line versus Son and Johnson. Because Johnson, he's going to be looking to cut in. Like, please play Gvardiol. I don't want to see Ake play Gvardiol, please. I don't rate this brother. Yeah, I've not rated him for 3 years because I saw him against Rangers in the Champions League, in the Europa League. When Rangers went on that run, and he put in one of the worst performances I've ever seen. I then saw him for Croatia against Brazil. Terrible performance. I saw him for Leipzig last season. Terrible. The guy, he's not shit. He's obviously a very good player. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there's something about him, that when we praise him, we're always praising he's on the ball. He's on the ball. He's on the ball. We're never praising, for me anyway, his defensive work. And I'm just like, I'm I'm not convinced by Gavardio. I wasn't because that performance he put in against Rangers.
That came from left. I never even heard.
Bro, honestly, because he gets a lot of praise. He was 100 million, and Spurs' fan base was very critical of the club for not trying to spend 80 million plus for him. And I just look at him and I'm just like, I know he's young, but he's still, had 4 professional seasons and stuff like that. I'm just not convinced. I think Van de Ven's actually better than him. Like, I can't say it with chest yet because it's a bit too early in Van de Ven's career. But Gavardio does not convince me defensively. I would be curious to see what you think, LB.
I think he's playing.
Did he not cost 100 million? Sorry, I'm not trying to add value to him to make it. Was it 70, 80, 90?
77 million it was.
77
I think he already looks like a bargain. I think he's absolutely mint. I think he's going to be one of the best centre-backs in world football in a few years. He's so young as well. He's only 22. So experienced for his age. He's a great player. Great player. Really like him.
So are you happy with how he's played so far?
Oh, bro, more than happy. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe it. He's mint. Mate, I think he's class. Absolutely class.
Defensively as well, or just on the ball?
Yeah, defensively he's been fine. That drop from amazing, wonderful.
Yeah,
but you don't buy Gavardio to be defensively mint. You know what I mean? You buy him to be what's he good on the ball going forward. That's his main asset.
Let me just say this. For somebody who bought Ben White for 50 million and now he's playing out of position, sometimes you buy players and if they're good enough, you play them even if the system doesn't suit the way it is, or you find a way to fit him in. I don't think they bought Gavardio straight up to just be a center back replacement for one or another. This is a City team that buy players to play in multiple positions. They look for versatility. Akanji came in, Ake came in. Even if I'm not mistaken, Laporte played in different positions previously for them too. So it's like it's not out of the realm of possibility that they scouted him for someone to be in the long term, but in the short term they had different ideas on how to use him.
But my thing about Gavardio is that it's like I remember at the time as well. Do you remember Schlotterbeck? Schlotterbeck at Dortmund, the centre back, yeah. But at the time he was getting such huge Bastoni too. These guys were getting so much praise and so much adulation. And for me, it's like that's the difference between Saliba and Gavardio. For me, it's that Saliba is very good on the ball and he's very, very good defensively. Yeah, that's why I'm like, this is a top player. Yeah, Gavardio is very, very good on the ball, and I have a question mark over him defensively. Personally, I don't. You guys might think that, he's been fine and this and that, blah blah blah. But he's playing left back. He's not playing centre back yet. Consistently, you've got a lot of high quality centre backs. To be fair, but I'll wait to see. But not.
I think I want to park that. But Jay, what was your score prediction so we can move on from this?
3-2 Tottenham.
3-2 Tottenham. Okay.
Moussa Diaby's just scored an absolute banger in the Conference League there for Aston Villa. What a goal that was.
I didn't see it. I gotta go check it out. But it's early in the game already.
3 minutes. 3 minutes in.
Damn. By the way, I just wanted to ask you guys two more questions before we move on. First, they're thinking about implementing a sin bin similar to how hockey. So instead of giving somebody a straight red card and sending them off, they're thinking about giving them a green card where they sit out for a certain amount of minutes in the game and then come back into the game later on in the game. Do you think this is a bad idea, good idea, or do you think it's just stupid?
I think this is a terrible idea. I think they're just trying to. I this moment in time, right, I'm pretty certain that they're just trying to ruin football. I actually just genuinely think that's their aim. I think that this cannot be a serious thing. This cannot be. Yeah, I know it is, but you know what I mean. It can't be serious. It cannot be serious, man. It's horrendous. And what I find bizarre is I just find them so arrogant. These people that we've got VAR that's shockingly bad and doesn't work, and in my opinion, will never ever work. And yet they're continuing. They try to bring in all these new rules. And it's just like, bro, get your house in order first. Yeah, if everything was perfect, I'd had the conversation, but nothing. It's not perfect. Yet they're still going on about it. Stuff like this. I just think these people are proper idiots, man. And this is just horrendous. What happens if a goalkeeper gets sin bin? What happens then?
Okay, so this is how it works. It is a 10-minute sin bin. That's what they're trying to. That's what it is. So football will introduce an orange card, and for your player will then be out of the game for a total of 10 minutes.
But what about if it's a goalkeeper, bro?
If it's a goalkeeper, then then you're going to have to either substitute another player on the pitch for a goalkeeper, or another player is going to have to be goalkeeper for 10 minutes.
And these are given for what, as dissent?
For example, decisions that they feel like are not reds, but are also not yellows, that they feel like are very much in the middle. They're just going to give them as oranges.
Bro, I read that they might bring it in for dissent.
For example, the Kai Havertz versus Newcastle, they didn't feel like on the pitch at the time it was a direct red, so that would be, for example, an orange. Kovacic's first chance against that he didn't get yellow carded for against Arsenal.
That could have just been a red though.
So instead of
this is the thing,
they're making it more difficult for referees, I think, personally.
Yeah, of course they are. You know what I mean? They don't know. These people don't know what they're doing, man. You know what I mean? And they try to overcomplicate the game. If it's a red card, send him off. Don't be bothering with this orange card. You know what I mean? It's nah. You know what I mean? It's either a good tackle, right? Not a good tackle, it's a yellow card, or it's a bad tackle, it's a red card. Simple. You don't need to add in another tier list. Oh, that's all going to create chaos, mate. And I see that apparently they were going to do it for dissent, right? Well, you could have a bit of a problem there. If I was a referee, I only speak English. What about if I've got a Spanish player yapping off in my face in Spanish, calling me every name under the sun? I can't send him off. I don't know what he's saying. So how's that going to work? You have to get multilingual referees who speak every single language on the pitch, because otherwise that's an unfair advantage for the players that speak more than one language, isn't it?
Okay, the universal language.
Oh, what happened there?
Yeah, he's lagged out on mine, bro.
Jay, you lagged out. Jay, you lagged out.
Yeah, he's gone, bro.
Yeah, it's not working. Yeah. Nah, it's not even working. I'm gonna kick him and see if he can join back. But yeah, man. So the thin bin thing is now. You know what? Are you open to change though, or do you think everything they try to do is messing up the game?
I don't get what more do they really want, man. Yeah, I mean, like,
would you be down for coaches' challenges?
Nah.
Why?
I think it's dumb. Why do we need that, bro?
Because the coach should be able to challenge the referee during the game without being in trouble.
But we've got VAR.
No, but the coaches, I feel like there's times where the referees make mistakes, and in game it can be corrected if you challenge them.
I don't think it can, because you see sometimes these referees, they'll make a mistake and then they'll still say they've made the correct call. Oh, the reason that we're having this conversation is because we've got to accept that VAR's failed, which I said it would fail when they were bringing it in, because it'll never work. Football is a subjective game. It's opinions are subjective. Yeah, other than the offside, right? But they're going to bring in this faster thing, which is great for them to use it in the Champions League. That's great. That'll improve the Prem. Goal line technology. Everything else is subjective. You know what I mean? So you can't. It's just you can't be bringing in all these stuff, bro. VAR will never work. Coaching decisions won't clarify anything. That'll just slow down the game even more. Bloody hell, man. Games will be like 3 hours long if we carry on this rate, bro. If I had my way, I'd scrap the whole thing, get rid of VAR, I'd stick with the offside thing, and I'd stick with the goal line technology. I'd be done with VAR. What's it done? It's not done nothing. We used to have referee mistakes before VAR. We still get them now.
You know what? You're not wrong. But I just think watching the NFL, watching the NBA, and seeing how successful those have been.
So what sports is that? What's NBA?
So in the NBA for basketball and the NFL for American football, the coaches are able to in-game challenge the referee's decision on the field.
But can I say why that's not going to work?
Why?
Because NFL, there's breaks in the play anyway. After every phase, there's a break.
Okay.
Football's meant to be a fluid game.
There's breaks in rugby.
There's breaks in rugby. Yeah, there's breaks in rugby. There's breaks in rugby when the ball goes out for a throw in or all this kind of stuff, a scrum, all that kind of stuff. There's breaks. And I think as well, for me, rugby, when I watch rugby, not that I'm a massive rugby fan, but the decisions are clearer, man. Yeah, I mean, you very rarely see stinky decisions on the VAR with rugby because what do they get in? I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever I see it's usually, is it a try or not? Right, well, that's a binary outcome. They might get it wrong now and again, but it's a binary outcome. Or is it a high tackle? Is a tackle above the shoulder or whatever? So, well, again, it's not really subjective, is it? It's either yes or no.
I have an issue with VAR, not because of VAR. I have an issue with people's interpretation of VAR. Because for me, it's like, if you look at VAR from the fact of we shouldn't re-referee, we're trying not to re-referee. Do you know what I mean? So you get to a point where everybody's looking for, if you're looking for perfection from VAR, the whole point is, to me, certain decisions are subjective. Like the Newcastle goal against you. Some people think that was it. You think it was a push. I think Gabriel was very strong against Hoyland a few weeks earlier, and you didn't give a penalty away. So, but in that moment when he pushed him, he said, but then there'll be other instances where someone will push someone and say, that's very soft. But I think the problem is that even with Wolves, a lot of Wolves' decisions, they're soft. But like, for example, the one on the toe the other night was ridiculous. But some of the other ones, like the Onana punch, to me, that's clearly a penalty.
That's subjective.
But you see, exactly. But that's the point. As in, like, they say they don't rule against collisions, but then you'll be in other situations where your keeper will bump into a striker, but he might not punch him. So then it's like, where's the threshold? Where's the line? These are all subjective decisions. And sometimes Spurs haven't had one penalty this season. We're the only team in the Premier League to not have a penalty. You've never heard me moan about referees this season. Not once. Because it's like...
Yeah, because your manager made his bed.
That's irrelevant to whether I want to moan about referees. And anyway, he's coming from the logic of the referees, what a referee does doesn't affect the overall result to that extent because it's just a moment in the game. That doesn't mean that you can't say that was a wrong decision. Eddie Nketiah should have had a red card against Spurs. Yeah? And then he would have been out for 3 games and he wouldn't have been able to score crucial goals for you in the following games. These decisions have impacts. But, you know, you say, okay, VAR is not doing its job. Well, honestly, it's like, if you want perfection, you're not getting it from VAR. But by the same token, VAR has to improve and be more clear, like LB said, because the processes, they're not clear. It's too distinct at the moment for me. But it's people, we need better than it is now, but people to just lower their expectations of what they're going to get from it. That's the way I see it.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to wrap it up with the predictions for our Wolves Arsenal. Personally, for me, we're going to have to go through this again in more details. But I want to know what you guys think about Wolves Arsenal. Do you think we drop points against Wolves? Or obviously we beat Wolves.
You're at home.
Yeah.
No, you're at home, isn't it? You're at home?
No, I thought we were away.
No, I'm 99% sure you're at home.
What? Oh, yeah, we are. Shit. I thought it was an away game. My bad.
If it was an away game, I might back a draw. But because they're pretty decent at Molineux, innit?
Wolves at Molineux are a problem.
Yeah, they are. But the only thing that can get you is tiredness from yesterday. But I doubt that's going to be an issue. I expect a 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, something like that.
2-0, 3-1. What about you, Jay? What are you saying?
Yeah, I think Wolves are. I mean, they've not got. Without Neto, I don't think they've got the oomph to go away to Arsenal and pull it off. But I think they'll play well. They've been really game this season. So let's say 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. There you go. And that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. Personally, for me, I appreciate you guys jumping on and taking your time out of the day to jump on the stream. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
And big up to everybody watching. Don't forget to check out LB's channel. And of course, Jay's Twitter is Jay.
I'll be floating around. I'll just be floating around. Don't worry about me.
There you go. And yeah, we're out of here, people. And we will be back tomorrow with part 2 of Vibes from the 6 this week, where we do the actual match predictions for each game and go through each game. But I think this game deserved its own little video. And I appreciate Jay and LB for jumping on once again. Shout out everyone in the comment section and have yourselves a wonderful Thursday night. We're out.